Hi guys! Welcome back to Banned Book Week 2025. Alright, so, wow. Where to even begin? Okay, well, so I'm very excited for this year because unlike most years, at least the last like 2 or 3, I did mostly audiobooks the last couple of years. This year, I read 5 books for Banned Book Week, and 2 of them were audio. The other 3 were physical! Yay! So I'm very excited, a little proud of myself. So, we're going to do the 2 audiobooks the first 2 days, which is fine because the first book I read for Banned Book Week was... wow. And boy is it controversial. I'll tell you what. So first up, for Banned Book Week 2025, we're going to be talking about 19 Minutes by Judy Picoult. Still don't know how to say her name. So I will say this is the 5th Judy Picoult book I read this year. She just has a lot of free books on Audible, so I've been going through them. Only because they're free, I would say. On the whole, I guess I enjoy her stories, but then you get to the end and I have a hard time with her endings because I find them incredibly unbelievable. If you're talking real world believability, which most of her books are based in reality, I can't buy her endings. So, which this book I didn't have so much of that problem with. In the first book of hers I read, I didn't have a huge problem with, but the 3 in between, holy crap. I got to the end of the book and I'm like, what? That would not happen. But anyway, let's talk about 19 Minutes, which is a book she published in, I got 2 different answers, 2007 or 2008. I don't have a physical copy, so I couldn't look at I think Audible told me 2008, and that's where I got the actual answer. I can't remember. So it's kind of a crazy, because I went into this blind, okay? I did not know what this book was about when I went into it. I just knew it was super controversial, and it had a picture of a desk turned over on the cover, which actually I didn't really even pay that much attention to, because I was listening to it on audio. So I just went into it blind, and I have notes, okay? I have notes, and my notes progress obviously as the book goes. Because my first couple notes are minimal swearing, only slight mentions of date rape cases in connection to because 2 of the main characters are a judge and a cop. Some of the violence gets rough in describing victims' bodies, because of the main thing that happens. But this is kind of like a sleeper book. You go into it and it kind of lulls you into this false sense of security. It's oh, okay, this is a really interesting book. It's not that, why is it banned? And then it just keeps getting worse. And you're like, okay, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna usually ever say a book should be banned. And spoiler alert, I don't think this book should be banned either. But yeah, this book really takes you on a journey because it does not start the way it ends as far as like what to expect. That's for sure. So yeah, 19 minutes. So brief overview revolves around a school shooting, which I did not know going into it. And then the court case. I mean, it's not told in a linear fashion. So yeah, it really, the whole book kind of revolves around like the court case that is involved with this school shooting and the kid that did it and the people around him, and it flashes back from his mom's perspective to when he was little, and his old friend's perspective to when they were younger, his perspective leading up to it, the shooting, and like, I mean, it's kind of all over the place, but she is a good storyteller. I will give her that. She is good at telling stories. And yeah, it's a genuinely good book. But I would say there definitely needs to be a discussion with books, especially if they are going to be in a place where younger readers or anyone, just in general, I think books should maybe have disclaimers at the beginning of them if they have sensitive topics in them that could trigger people, because it does have some not real descriptive when it comes to the events of the shooting itself, but some. There is some, after it eases into the more graphic stuff, there is teen sex scenes that does stray into domestic violence as well as like teenage sexual violence. Yeah, so it does get a little, especially if you've been in situations like that, where you've been abused, it can be, yeah. This book did make me cry for a whole nother reason, because at one point the mom is flashing back to when they put their dog down, and it got very, like, detailed and emotional, and that, yeah, it sent me back to when Charlie died, and that I was just bawling on the way home listening to this book, and I was like, this shouldn't be why I'm crying reading this book. So like, that was unexpected and really sad. And then of course it does, because the school shooting that happens in this book is the result of bullying, which is a real problem that is not addressed enough, is not taken care of enough. It's because the main character, the boy, is bullied because, like, people in school are calling him gay, and then he starts to figure out, like, am I gay? Like, so the book deals with him trying to figure out his sexuality, and also deals with him being bullied, which, I'm not gonna lie, gets graphic in a few places, and that's kind of hard. So yeah, it's just, it deals with a lot, and you don't get that vibe real early on in the book. It's a really long book. So yeah. So why was 19 minutes banned? This is where Banned Book Week frustrates me every year, one of the areas, because if you're gonna ban a book, ban it for things that make sense, like violence or sexual abuse. You know, things that might actually hurt people, like have hurt people. I don't know, maybe the main event, the gun violence. Maybe ban it for that. I don't know. Because maybe kids in high school don't want to be reading about a school shooter. Maybe that could cause anxiety. No. 98 school districts in just 2023 to 2024 alone banned 19 minutes. And their reasoning for banning this book was the references to gender identity and sexual orientation. And another ban was because it depicted sexual acts. Like, make this make sense. I don't... it just frustrates me to no end. We know. We know what group is the one banning books, okay? And they really don't like when there's a mention of, like, teens having sex or having sex before marriage. They really hate that. And they would rather ban something over that than the glaringly obvious problems that a book might have, or obvious problems that are going on in the world or in a school, like sexual violence against teens or gun violence against teens or bullying. They're gonna just gloss over all of that and just go to the, like, oh no, our teens might be having sex. It blows my mind that that's why you would ban a book. Like, it just, and I've seen it year after year after year, that's why we're banning books. It just, my husband and I had this discussion the other morning, because we do this, now that we own a home, every Sunday we have coffee on our back deck. And I was like, help me just think through, like, why there isn't, like, a rating system or something on books so we can stop banning books. And it just evolved into, like, talking about how high school is supposed to be a transitionary period where kids are becoming adults. But people don't treat it that way. They still treat high schoolers like kids until the second they graduate, and then they're like, okay, you're adults now, go get jobs, go get married, own property, die for your country. And that's like, how are you expecting 17, 18, 19-year-olds to just flip a switch and just be something else when for the last 12 years, well, their whole life, you've treated them like children, when the last 4 years you should have been prepping them, teaching them, okay, here's a little more of what it's like to be an adult, here's the things you should be thinking about and knowing and experiencing that you're going to experience as an adult. Not just, oh, learn how to drive. No, like, more real stuff than that. Like, this is actually what it's going to be like with, it bugs me. Have them read some actual books. Stop trying to ban books so that maybe they can actually get some perspective. I don't know. But yeah, it just bugs me every year that we see this. People are so scared of sex and what people might do if they read about it. And it just, that they're skirting past all this other stuff, because this book was honestly, it had some really good moments, because it really brings to light different perspectives, okay? Like, of everyone involved in a school shooting or any kind of shooting or active violence, okay? Because, I mean, you have the victims' parents, and then you have the parents of the shooter. And they're, trying to figure out, we should be grieving too, but we're feeling like we can't, we're not allowed to grieve because it's our son that did this. But, like, how do we navigate understanding how the person we raised could do this? And we feel like we lost something too, but we are not technically, we're not allowed to grieve. Like, people are acting like we're not allowed to grieve. And, like, how is that fair? And how do we go on? And, like, we technically lost a son too, because, like, that son that we thought we knew is not. Like, that son is dead to us. And it's just, it's a book of really good empathy. And obviously that's something we really need in our country and in our world. So I think it's a really good book to read. I think more people do need to read it. It does delve a lot into, like, the court system and stuff like that. So, like, parts of that were a little boring, but it's still a very, very good, interesting read. I don't think I have any other notes that I missed, but yeah, it's a good book. I would say it's probably my favorite Jodi Picoult book. Yeah, I highly recommend reading it. Definitely, I would say there should be some trigger warnings in there for violence, sexual abuse. There's some swearing. Actually, I think as everything else increases, the swearing increases too. That's something I'm still struggling with, is catching swearing when I'm doing these banned book weeks. But yeah, it's solid book. I highly recommend. Don't think it should be banned, especially not for the reason it was banned. But yeah, so more people need to read it. More people just need to read more books. So, alright, I love you guys. Thank you for watching Banned Book Week Day 1. Let me know if you guys have read this book and what your thoughts are. Yeah, and what you guys are reading for Banned Book Week. And I will see you tomorrow for Day 2.